Hey, let's get a sky mirror for next week. Let's get down to the realness of your world. And, on the 8th, the solar return, it is notable there's a new moon at 16 Cancer, squares the USA government Saturn. Saturn stations on that day, too, at 5 Scorpio, so it's a very Saturn day, very Saturn time for you. You can see how I've drawn him here. Brrr, cold, mean old judge. Ugh. And right now he thinks he's righteous because he's got Neptune trine. The priests are saying, oh yeah. And here's Jupiter here, gone into Cancer. And Jupiter is making a grand trine, we call it, this equilateral triangle with Neptune and Jupiter and Saturn. And normally this means business and government gets along pretty good because Saturn's the Republicans, and Jupiter's the Democrats here. Anyway, we also have this unusual thing going on the 17th to the 20th, Uranus stations. So Uranus stationing means problems with electrical things that go around and around. And Mercury stationing with 3 days from each other, and they're exactly in square at 12 Aries and 12 Cancer. So this is a hot spot, this square, and it's coming up in the middle of July. And I've never seen this before. Mercury's communication, transportation of a more mundane sort. It's the words I'm using. Uranus is the TV screen and the internet you might be using, and all kinds of high-tech stuff. It's also your inner video, let's call it. You have an inside movie that kind of runs along in your head. Everybody thinks it's only their own, but the truth is we share it, kind of a universal mind. So it's your electricity, it's your internet, blah, and it's squaring Mercury. You're going to have trouble, talking and thinking and making words. Major disruption of communication, transportation. This is a classic for a solar flare, for instance. Yeah, so this is what we really got to watch, this 12-degree thing here. Even though we're all concerned mostly with Saturn and we're going to get more scared, look out. Your paranoia is true. Back in those days, in the 60s at Berkeley, wow, here we are. These are guys I knew. And the FBI and the CIA was targeting students and professors and people. We had some suspicion. We were paranoid, No, we weren't paranoid. It was true. It's happening then, too. It happens whenever the government falls into the hands of Nazis like, Nixon and Reagan and Bush. They gear up to suppress. Well, there's Saturn, pretty scary stuff. What Mr. Snowden told us about is very scary. And remember, he said all it took was a policy change, and bang, everything's in place, and they got everything you've said on the telephone for the last how many years? Uh-oh. Anyway, this is a Uranus-Mercury square, and people will stutter, and there will be interruptions in all forms of communication. So this is real. I'm going to look and see where this is with some astrocartography, but it's hitting you on kind of Sundays here. Let's go back and go through this day by day, okay? Here you are on the Thursday show. The moon's in Gemini. You're having a square Thursday show, moon's in middle of Gemini. Not too bad. It's sextiling Uranus. It's good for astrology, Thursday night, July 4th. And there's a sense of brotherhood around with the moon sextiling Uranus here. Not bad. On July 5th, in the evening, Mars is there. The young men, the too many macho young, they didn't get all their fireworks done on the 4th. They're going to do them Friday night on the 5th. And somebody's ticked off about it. Might have some burnt fingers here, too, on Friday. The moon's still in Gemini as you go into Saturday, July 6th, till you get to about lunchtime. Then it shifts into Cancer. And once the moon shifts from Gemini here into Cancer, you start to feel the sting. It kind of suckers you in a little bit because here's the trine to Saturn and the trine to Neptune, and the priest, artist, doctors, the judge, everybody's in harmony. the law is working, the lawyers and the judges and everybody's having a big party, and and it all seems to go on Saturday night. Look out. Look out, because on Sunday it all hits the fan, and there's a feeling of aloneness, and power. There's an opposition to Pluto, the policing here, the detectives, the media. It's a rebellious feeling. There's also a new moon going on here, so this is a quake time. We could have some big quakes here that they tend to knock out your communication, transportation pretty well, just like hurricanes. Quakes and hurricanes, and they're on Sundays now. And the first one here that you're concerned with is July 7th. There's a new moon late in the evening at 16 Cancer, squares Uranus. Nobody's happy with the media or the electricity or the batteries went dead, or, if you get through Sunday without big trouble, it's a new moon. Good for new starts. On Monday, the moon's still in Cancer. On the 8th, here's a solar return day for the U.S. government. Watch and see what happens. Seems to have good Mercury here, but who knows? You got to watch reality sometimes. That's the fun of it. On Tuesday, on July 9th, we have a nasty square to Saturn. And remember that Saturn stations. Saturn is stopping in the sky, and on the 8th. And so the moon squaring Saturn says, eek! Who are those people that set up all those massive storage facilities to keep track of us? Suppose Hitler had those capabilities and face recognition software and drones and satellites, and wow, this is the most horrible Big Brother thing you could imagine. Edward Snowden really did us a service in letting us know the truth. Protect Edward Snowden. That's going to be kind of scary here on Tuesday, and it's about noontime when the moon squares Saturn, plus or minus an hour or so. It depends on your location. By the time you get to late Tuesday night, around midnight, there is a trine to Uranus. Oops, I wasn't watching the screen. I'm sorry. Here's the square. Here's the scary part. It's around noontime, and you get to about midnight on Tuesday. There's a trine to Uranus. And you're in a Venus zone. There's brotherhood. There's a little love and relaxation. Somehow all that scary stuff in the middle of Tuesday doesn't bother us much, because we're all willing to kick back and get some sweets. And it's not bad. Not bad at all. Venus is here in Leo, and Mars is in Gemini. So there's a little Mars-Venus, a little romance here on Wednesday. Goes right through. In fact, at Thursday morning early is the sextile to Mars, and the heroes are out, and we're getting things done. It's very physical. What a neat thing. Moon in Leo. Once you're through Tuesday, not bad. It's kind of fun. On Thursday, just before lunch, the moon shifts into Virgo. The vibes all change. There's a nice sextile to Jupiter, though. Oh, we're optimistic. And then there's a sextile to Saturn. Oh, yeah, the judge says we're within the law. It's lawful. The government attorney general says, recording all your stuff. But there's an opposition to Neptune. Something fishy. Somebody isn't telling the truth. Drug companies, oil companies, priest, artist, doctors, Neptune, fishy. Two of them. So that Thursday night, there could be more flooding. We're kind of through some of that period, the 4 Sag squaring Neptune. I'm still seeing floods all over back here at the end of June. So there could be some liquid problems and some thefts and things here Thursday night. Friday morning, though, we get some power and control over it. Between breakfast and lunch, there's a trine to Pluto. The detectives are out. We're figuring it out. We got power back again. Feels pretty good, huh? And even better on Saturday, July 13th. Here's a nice sextile to the sun. We got a plan. We're getting things done. Hooray! Everything seems pretty good. and right through until after dinner, Saturday the 13th, when the moon shifts into Libra. And, there's a Mars and Jupiter are in square here. Too much macho, overdoing it all, going too fast, accident-prone Saturday night. And when you get to Sunday, the 14th, well, there's that Uranus squaring Pluto, squaring Mercury. Here's your zappy Sunday with more electrical disturbances and whirly winds and quakes and power outages, and another chance for you to experience a solar flare, interrupting your internet, that kind of stuff. Well, it really gets thick on the 17th to the 20th. I'll report more on it next week also. But this is a pretty unusual square. I dare say when you get to the point where these things are acting up, and they'll hit you 4 times a day as the chart goes around, there'll be loud noises, there'll be sudden cessations and interruptions of communication, electrical things. It's going to be a regular little rhythm for a while. Something that I've never seen. I'm really interested to see what it's going to be like. Yeah.